High School, where the Falcons are going to take on the Great Bridge Wildcats tonight. Mickey Irving, along with our commentator Frank Lapoli, former high school state champion coach over in the Peninsula at Bethel High School, the director of the Virginia Duels ever since its conception, and also a wrestling official. Glad to have you here tonight, Frank, and we're in for a good match between two powers over here in the Eastern region.
Oh, no question about it, Mickey. We're definitely in for a great match, and this match is traditionally kicked off the second half of the season. It's always been in January. It's always been in early January, and it's time to rock and roll, as they say, and this match is definitely the start of a really exciting high school season, and we're going to be carrying a few of them for you, and this is just the start of some of the great ones. Cox High School just came off the Virginia Duels. They're 4-2, and they had two real disappointing losses in the duels. They wrestled Old Mill from Maryland, a three-time defending state champion, and McCully from Tennessee, the three-time defending Tennessee state champion, and was way out in front and lost the lead and went down in defeat rather disappointingly. But when it comes to a big match like this, you can throw all that out the window, because these teams know each other's strengths and weaknesses and are well prepared and well trained for it.
And we had a chance to talk to the Cox coaching staff, and here's where they had to say earlier tonight.
Well, Great Bridge has got a real strong lineup from top to bottom. I mean, they really don't have any weak weights. We've got to try to avoid getting to our backs, avoid giving up a lot of points with pins or technical falls as much as possible. And we've got to rely on our senior depth in the middleweights to carry us along and to get back some of those points if we do give them up.
And that's what Cox is going to have to do to be successful tonight. Now, Great Bridge, they're coming in here 11-0. Stevie Martin in his first year over there at Great Bridge. What do we look for from the Wildcats tonight?
Well, Steve, first of all, you've got two things here. You've got the team of Great Bridge, which is really more experienced than the coach, Stephen Martin. Although it's hard to say that a Martin, with their great wrestling history, is not prepared in any situation. Stephen, in his first year out of Iowa, former Kentsville High School state champion, has brought a little different tone, I think, you're going to see out of the Great Bridge wrestlers. Great Bridge wrestlers have always been really in good shape, known for their technique. I think Stephen's input will bring a little bit more intensity and that killer instinct to them. They're going to be after their opponent more and more. It won't matter what the score will be, whether they're behind or whether they're way ahead. They're going to won't be content unless they pinned their opponent. Great Bridge, as you mentioned, just came off two big, important, very impressive wins in the Virginia Duels, where they defeated a very good Green Run team. It's hard to get that out. And also defeated McCully out of Tennessee, which lost to Cox 51-8. Great Bridge is loaded. They've got 7 ranked wrestlers, and they're all ranked number 1 or number 2. So you go from the fire into the frying pan, just trying to stay away from them. They're loaded from top to bottom, and we did talk to Stephen Martin, and this is what he had to say about the big match tonight.
From 125 up to 152, we're going to have consistent performances from our guys. If we get upset in any of those weights, then we could be in for a long night. But basically, if my guys perform up to their level, I'm not going to be disappointed when they walk off the mat.
You mentioned to me earlier you had a big match at 152. Chad McFadder's ranked number 1 in the area, was number 2 in the state, but you said that you're going to go right out after him.
Yeah, our game plan is to go after him. We've been training for him for the whole fall up to this point, so we're going to take it after him. You know, I feel my kid's properly prepared, so it's showtime. We'll see what happens.
We're about ready to get underway on your Sports B40 Game of the Week here from Cox High School. Stay tuned. Mickey Irvin and Frank Lapoli. We'll have a special guest, Wayne Martin, will be in briefly off and on during the match. We're about ready to get underway. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Lori Russo. If you're looking for a bright and exciting program about Chesapeake, join me on ACC 40 every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday for Chesapeake Magazine. Each month, we'll introduce you to some of our interesting residents and take you to events happening right here in our city. Chesapeake Magazine is entertaining for people of all ages, so tune in to ACC 40 at these times for Chesapeake Magazine. It's a show you won't want to miss.
Welcome to Cox High School for one of the biggest wrestling matches of the year. The Cox Falcons and the Great Bridge Wildcats, defending state champions, against the defending Beach District champions, the Cox Falcons. And Frank, as you said, it's about time to rock and roll. The crowd is still coming in here. It's going to be a packed house tonight. Something that we really didn't get to hit on during the pregame is the crowd going to be a factor here tonight in favor of Cox.
No question about it all. Great Bridge needs to take the crowd out of the match, because tonight the crowd is definitely a benefit to Cox High School.
They're still doing the introduction of the wrestlers. They're about ready to get underway here now. And it is indeed going to be a full house here from Cox High School. Coach Gary Hartenoff in his 9th year for the defending Beach champion Cox Falcons against Coach Stevie Martin in his first year at Great Bridge, replaced his brother Wayne Martin. Stevie was wrestling at Kempsville. He won 3 state championships and went on to the University of Iowa and played on the national championship team there. He won over 100 matches for Dan Gable and was assistant coach there before coming to Great Bridge. And about ready to get underway for the first match, sophomore Sean Darnell from Great Bridge with a 12-1 record against Jason Morales of Cox High School. And Frank says he needs to stay off his back.
He needs to stay low right here, right from the get-go. He just needs to stay low, stay basic, and there he's right there. He's in deep, and you see him go right to the head. And that didn't take long. It was an instantaneous takedown. Actually, he's probably in better shape here than on his feet, because the easiest way to pin a wrestler is from standing. Because when you get a takedown is normally when they're most susceptible for a pinning combination.
Sophomore Shane Darnell with a 2-point lead, 1:30 to play in the first period.
What you're seeing here now is Shane's going to try to convert this to a cradle, and there it is. That was simple, and the way he's got the cradle, I'll be surprised if Morales can get out of this. This should probably be it right here. If he's got his leg, you can see on the far side, he's got his hand locked right there, blocking his inside leg. He's got the best cradle you can get on him. His head's out of position. Your head needs to be on the hip to secure a really tight cradle, and he's up too high. And that's what Coach Wayne's telling him to do is, yeah, there it is. Now he's in position and he's out of position. He's losing his concentration, and John Nolan, the referee, called for a stalemate, and that was great. Jason did exactly what he could do. He ate up time off the clock. The score's only 2-0. He stalemated the match, and the match is still close. In my estimation, Jason's winning the match. Even though he's behind, he's winning the match.
So Jason Morales is going to be defensive almost this entire match.
No question about it. Basically, he's got to do the old rope-a-dope. He's got to keep it close. He's got to keep the match close and look for his opportunity to win. You know, when we were coaching over at Bethel, a lot of times you can't beat a good wrestler, but you can pin him. And his best opportunity, Jason's best opportunity to win, might actually be pinning Shane Darnell. This is a Turk. And then again, if he can just base out. Now, if you notice, Jason's one of those guys that's not real muscle-bound guy, and that's to his advantage. The rubbery type of guys are a little better at staying off their back. And now, if you can see there, there's 2 referees out there. We have a referee, which is John Nolan, and we have an assistant referee, which is one of the oldest officials in the area, and most noted official is Jerry Kirby. Now, in a big match like this, you're going to have 2 officials, and believe me, when you're out on the match, when I'm calling a match, I like a second official, because not all the pressure's on you, and you don't have to feel as though you need to be all over the entire match.
Shane Darnell with a 2-point lead just gets 2 more on a reversal.
He does a nice turn-in roll, and of course, Great Bridge is coached by, as you know, Stephen Martin and formerly Wayne Martin, and the Granby rolls, the turn-ins, is what made them famous in America, and that was a nice turn-in. Now, you see he's got his arm back up on his back. He's going to try to probably stick an arm bar, and there's an arm bar. It's a little too high. The referee's going to have to move in and keep that legal. There he is, and if you watch him, he'll sit and try to tilt him. Not really pin him, but he'll try to pick up the back points. He's trying to run that score up. Now, if you pin a guy, you're holding his shoulders down for 2 full seconds. If you have a 15-point lead over your opponent, that's called a technical fall. The match is stopped and your team gets 5 points. If you beat your opponent by 8 points, an 8-point lead, that's called a major decision, and you're going to get 14 points. And then if you just beat them between 1 and 7 points, that's just called a decision, and you only pick up 3 team points. The score's only 4-0, and it's late in the second period. And again, Jason Morales, even though he's bridging, is doing his part for the team by gaining points.
36 seconds to play in the second period. Just a 4-point lead for Sean Darnell, the sophomore from Great Bridge, against the sophomore Jason Morales of Cox High School. A takedown and a reversal, the only points so far for Sean Darnell. And the Cox crowd indeed knows what's going on. They know that Jason Morales is holding him off and not letting him get a lot of points.
I'm not quite sure I agree with that call there. If you saw, the referee warned Morales for stalling, but the rule says if you're being overpowered and can't better yourself, you're not stalling.
So at the end of the second period, just 4 points for Sean Darnell, and Jason Morales yet to score. But as Frank said, we're looking at a man who's playing a little defense out here tonight, and the sophomore Jason Morales, and he's where he wants to be with 2 minutes to go.
Exactly, he's exactly where he wants to be. If he hits one good move from bottom, he gets 2 points for a reversal and 3 points for a near fall. He's won this match. Now what you're going to see they're going to cut him loose, and they know that now they're going for the pin in the first part of the match. Remember what I said? The best pinning combination is off your feet. Now watch him right now go to a cradle. They're going to do a front headlock to a cradle, trying to pick up those bonus points. Now they'll cut him loose right now. They're going to cut him loose. Try to cut him loose at 6-1. Remember, you beat him by 8 or more, he's going to those bonus points. And that's exactly what's happened. He's literally taking him down at will.
6-2 now in favor of Sean Darnell.
8-2, he needs 1 more point to kick up that first bonus point. Minute 17 left to go. Now, this will
lets him go. That's a good move.
That's right. He lets him go. But if he takes him down right here, he's going to have to take him down 2 more times. Now, remember, he's been hit for stalling, and don't be surprised if he's going to reach deep for a cradle. That's it. He's going to turn it inside. If he locks his hands, he's going to see that head. Watch his head slip up on the hip. He just has his hands locked, and it's over. He's pinned. Doesn't look good. He went for the home run. He went for the home run, and that's it. You got it. That's too bad. Now,
he held off as long as he could.
He held off. He did a great job. He did a good job. He took him to the third period. Now, expect this. Remember what happened here, fans. We had a close match. They couldn't get what they wanted. They cut him loose.
And now Danny DeReese, the junior, ranked number 2, 19-2 on the year, goes against Travis Fox, the junior from Cox.
Right, Travis Fox is 8-6. It's the same situation. Great Bridge needs bonus points here. They need to get a pin or better to build up that lead going into that string where Cox is strong, and Cox is strong from 19 up to 71. Now, Great Bridge is no slouch in there either, but that's where his strength is. Cox has to win. If they're going to win this match, that's good. That's good. He's keeping it close. If Cox is going to win this match, they're going to have to win it starting here. And now by not even winning the match, they can gain ground, just so that, again, they don't give up any bonus points.
Danny DeReese, as we mentioned, ranked number 2 in the Eastern region. Over his career, a 48-14 record for the Wildcats.
Now, what you're seeing here is they're setting up this front headlock. Time and time again, they're going to look for that headlock. Now, what you just saw him, there it is. He's got it. Now, that's referees are letting them be pretty rough out there. I'm pretty surprised. But it's
1 minute left in the first period. Danny DeReese with a 2-point lead.
Now, a picture's worth 1,000 words. These are cradles, and DeReese is what you would call a very physical wrestler, which he's pretty rough on you. Now, he's got to turn his hip down. Just see that hip go down, and he's got it. His hip is down. It's over. Danny DeReese scored this very same move on the Russians. I refereed against the Russians this summer. Danny was got a pin right off the bat. Pin right off the bat. Now the booing you're hearing is coming from the Cox fans because how rough DeReese is wrestling, and thinking that maybe they're looking for them just to break the hold. Now,
5 seconds to go in the period.
With 5 seconds to go, and the score is 5-0, which seems close. But Travis Fox has taken one heck of a beating in the first period.
5 near fall points for Danny DeReese to take the 5-point lead going into the second period. And you say Danny DeReese is just a physical wrestler. That's the way he usually wrestles. Is that correct? Is that what you see?
Yeah, he's very physical. He's a brawler. He's definitely a brawler. You can see it in his intensity. He's a brawler. And like I said, I refereed. I was fortunate to be selected the only official referee against the Russians when they came to town. He won pinning a Russian in the first period. And there's that quick turn in. There's a roll, and Travis is staying with him. Now, if Travis can neutralize him, tie him up, if he can throw the legs in, which you'll try to see him do there, try to get those legs in and slow him down. Watch that head. There it goes. Change it off. There's the reversal, front headlock. He'll stick with the front headlock, and he'll force the cradle. Cradle's locked. He'll take him up and over into what they're calling this is a power lift. It just jerks him right over the top. It's for a cradle. You rock a cradle is just like a rocking chair. You rock a guy on his back. And it should be 1 point escape. We'll see what the referee does there.
They got 2 points for a reversal in the
no
second
point
period
escape.
already.
I'm surprised the refs didn't call that.
So it's 7 for Danny DeReese, and Travis Fox yet to score with 1:17 to go in the second period.
Again, it's still a lot of time left in this match, and DeReese has lots of time to score. But again, remember, there's the 6-point victory, the 5-point victory, the 4-point victory, and the 3-point victory. Cox cannot afford to give away any 6-point victories.
1 minute in the second period. Danny DeReese with a 7-point lead.
Now he's got him in a roll position where he sits back and he gave it up. That's a 2-point reversal. He gave up to 2 to go for 5. Now look, so he can roll them and pick up 5. So a lot of times you'll let a wrestler better his position so that you go back to your strength. We know Great Bridge's strength is bottom. And there you go. He picked up 2, but he was going for big points there.
9-2 now in favor of Danny DeReese.
A 7-point lead. Remember, he's got to have an 8-point lead to get those bonus points.
112 weight class, Great Bridge with a pin in the first match, the 103, to take a 6-point lead here in the early goings from Cox High School.
One thing that Great Bridge has done so far is taken the Cox crowd out of the match. But they may seem like they're out of the match, but they're just a sleeping giant waiting to give their part to help the Cox wrestlers do the best they can in this great Tidewater match.
So now it's 9-2 in favor of Danny DeReese going into the third and final period.
Okay, I was just looking over at Coach Guttermuth, who's been with the Cox program for 20 years, 16 as the head coach. He's won 3 state championships himself here at Cox. Cox has won 5 state championships, and they're going for it if he can get on top, he's going to try to go for a cradle. Now, here's a little cheapy tilt, what they call. He's got an armbar in, he's got his tight waist. Now he's going, and you watch him, he'll sit. Can't pin him in this. No danger of getting pinned, but he's just going to try to build the lead up. He's going to lift and look for a Turk, and he defends that perfectly. A Turk is when the head goes down and both feet come up, almost like you've got a guy walking a barrel roll. Remember you barrel rolled with your buddies out in the front grass? Well, get him in that position. If you can get his head down, get his feet up, you can cradle him, or you can step between his legs and put a maneuver that's called a Turk on and tilt the guy to his back.
9-2, 1:14 left to go in this 112 weight class match. Danny DeReese and Travis Fox. Travis Fox just looking to get out right now, and he does.
Now, again, it's 1 minute to go. Now, what you're going to see him do, and if you can get a shot at coaches, they're going to tell him to cut him loose. Now, what they have is 2 positions on top. They call this the freestyle start, where he's going to put his hands up in the air. Watch this. And he'll probably push him away or go straight for a cradle. He pushed him away. Here gives him a 1 because he's got to get that 4-point win. Now, he's going to see front headlock. They won't. Great Bridge isn't a real big headlock guy where you see the old professional wrestling headlock here. That's not, but he's going to try it. And there he did.
So the strategy pays off again.
Boy, I wish I could call the horse races as good as I've called this. But, yeah, there's the strategy then again. But, see, he can come right out. He's got to get him out. Now it's changed hands. If Travis can score and just get the score back down to a decision, he's won a moral victory here.
He's helped the team.
He's helped the team. He's helped the team. And right now he's doing a great job. He's doing a great job. He's in trouble now, and there he'll kick over the cradle.
So Great Bridge is really going for the throat here in the early matches. They're going for the 6-point win.
The throat. And I think you're going to see that style. Superior decision.
So Danny DeReese gets the superior decision.
He got the 4-point win, and that's a superior decision. So Cox just gained 2 points. They were hoping to go into the third match, Great Bridge, with a 12-0 lead. It's 10-0, and that's what Cox has to do. She's out of position now. Jason,
the 119 weight class, Jason Forsman against Labisha Kostic of Great Bridge. Labisha Kostic and the Great Bridge wrestlers tonight will be in the gold tops with the green bottoms, and Cox in the all-green uniforms.
Jason Forsman was their 98 pounder last year. Very gutty guy. Real elusive, real wiry. You'll throw him on his back and he'll come up pinning you. So he's a very dangerous style of wrestler. Doesn't really look like a powerful wrestler, but again, he has that fluid strength and mobility. I had a guy that won a regional championship for me. We used to call him Rubber Man. And he'd go to his back, he'd be on his back and his hips would be on top, and before you knew it, you'd start to hold, you'd have your hold and he'd be pinning you. And Jason Foreman is that style of wrestler. He can get himself out of just like that. I mean, that says it all right there. He was taken down and now he's in a position to score.
So he just looks for an advantage and he's able to jump on it quick.
He's a counter wrestler. And right now he's in a position not only to score, but just scored a takedown. He looked like he was getting taken down and got the takedown.
And the crowd did light up just a little bit.
Yes.
And now they are again.
It's that 14th man is the Cox crowd.
39 seconds to go in the first period. Labisha Kostic and Jason Forsman. Jason with a 2-point lead with 30 seconds to go in the period.
Now, what he's doing right now, what Jason is doing is what Cox has to do to slow down Great Bridge. And that's throw the legs in. You can't roll if you got the legs in. And you got to clear your feet. You got to clear your hands. You need your hands and you need your knees to wrestle the style of wrestling that's made Great Bridge one of the top wrestling schools in the country.
As Frank mentioned, Great Bridge ranked 7th in the USA Today. They've won 36 straight matches, and this should be one of their most difficult matches to date here at Cox High School tonight, even though they have a 10-point lead and they're going into the third match, the 119 weight class, where Jason Forsman from Cox High School has taken a 2-point lead going into the second period against Labisha Kostic. What will Kostic look to do here, Frank?
Well, what Kostic has got to do is just to get something going. He's in this, like we saw in the first 2 matches, you saw the Great Bridge guys literally going for the throat. And the reason they were is that Kostic isn't the headhunter that the first 2 guys are. He has all the ammunition that the first 2 guys have. He's got the same style of wrestling. He's got the cradles. He's going to go right to the head, as you see there. But he doesn't have the power and strength that the first 2 guys had. So he's going to try to get the match going in his direction. What you've got there is you've got 2 guys of equal ability with the same body style wrestling each other. It's like they're wrestling themselves. The guy that gets the break here, is going to win the match. And it's 2-2. Don't be surprised to see this be a 1-point match, or all of a sudden somebody catch a guy and put him away.
And as you mentioned, Jason Forsman is a guy who will take advantage of a situation quick.
Yeah, don't ever count Forsman out of the bout.
Kostick did score here in the second period on a reversal to tie it up with 41 seconds to go in the second period. 10-point lead for the Wildcats here in the third match, the 119 weight class.
30 seconds remaining in the second period.
We will be doing some more wrestling later in the year. Our next telecast here on Sports Beat 40, however, will be from Deep Creek High School, the Deep Creek Hornets, as we'll stop for a potentially dangerous hold there. Our next broadcast will be between the Deep Creek Hornets and the Indian River Braves basketball, as now we're going to have a discussion with the officials from the Cox coaching staff.
Right, to see if we can get one of our cameras to get the coaches in here and find out what's happening here.
$18 seconds remaining here in the second period, tied up at 2.
Now what you got here? Let's talk about coaching staffs. You know how they. What do we got here? We've got two real evenly matched coaching staffs. You got Stephen Martin, who's in his first year, and in his style of coaching is go out there, take control of the match. Doesn't matter who's refereeing it. Doesn't matter what's it. Take the referee and out of the foul. Cox High School has the strategist. And you got to put the double checks on the Cox side for strategy. They've got Billy Guttermuth, who taught us all. He was coaching when I was wrestling, and we were fortunate enough to beat Cox High School in the regionals by half a point. And he's the wise man of the coaching staff, and they're going to work every possible angle for strategy. There's Forsman with a late switch. It's kind of a lazy man sit. And he'll turn this from a switch to back points. It's still 2-2, and Cox is where they want to be. They're on bottom, losing. All they got to do is wait, stay out of trouble, and score at any time. The later that he scores, the better it is. And this is a match that Cox High School must win, not just give up points, but must win it.
Labisha Kostick and Jason Forsman tied at 2 with 1:30 to go in the second period.
Now, Great Bridge would be happy for anything here. They could tie it, or they could win it. There's two different strategies here. Sometimes a tie is a win.
That's a warning for Great Bridge. Warning for stalling.
That's interesting. Now, see, there was a warning for stalling on the top man. And the referee is checking with the head table on it.
Assistant coach Chris Smith for Great Bridge will come over to the table, and I think they're going to get everything straightened out.
Let's see if we can stay on the coaches and finding out what's happening here. And injury time, and it looks like the warning call this time. The referees are discussing. Now what's happening here is that with this warning stall, it changes the pace. Now you've got him on bottom. You got the Cox wrestler on bottom, tied 2-2. That's where he wants to be. He's also, the Great Bridge wrestler has been warned for stalling, and all these things are in his favor. Now, if he can get another warning stall against him, he can win the match. If he gets off bottom, he can win the match with an escape. If he reverses him, which is what he's doing right now, and that brings the Cox crowd away and puts them in the match. The Sleeping Giant is making their presence known.
Just as you said, all of a sudden.
Right.
And Forsman is the guy that you said, if he just stayed around and stayed around and stayed close, you thought he could do something, and he pulled it away.
Now what's going to happen here is Forsman's got to throw his legs in to slow him down. He's a little late, and he's in trouble. The Great Bridge wrestler's in great shape. He's got to stall it out. Now remember, a tie is as good as a win for Great Bridge. He's got leg stop. They're going to try to stalemate it here. He's got to keep him in real tight. If he gets a great camera shot, got to keep him in real tight so he doesn't bring that arm out. If he brings that arm out, Great Bridge, there it is, arms out. He's got his leg hooked, but there's Forsman. Forsman putting him on his back. Forsman's in control. 6, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And that's it.
We got a match on our hands now, buddy.
Forsman did it. You said if the guy could stay around and stay close, he would find some way to do it, and indeed he did. 4-2. Jason Forsman with the win for Cox High School for their first points of the night to make it 10-3.
10-3. And now this is where...
This is a big match coming up here now. 125.
This is a big match. This is
the number 1 versus number 2. Brian Jones, the number 2 wrestler from Great Bridge, and Matt Pruitt, the number 1 ranked wrestler from Cox High School. Both are juniors.
Now, I think these rankings are a little deceiving. These guys are very good, but it's a very weak regional weight class. They're both hard-nosed, tough kids. This is a match like if Mike Tyson was to fight himself. You know?
All right.
This is, somebody's going to get decked here. Somebody's going to just...
Somebody's going down here.
Somebody's going to go down, yeah. There's just a lot of power and a long time to wrestle. This is going to be a test of endurance. This is a sprint. They're going to have to... Nobody can let down. They're going to have to stay with it and keep the pressure up the whole time. Cox, again, has to win here.
Brian Jones.
Bridge has to stop the string.
Brian Jones from Great Bridge, 16-2 on the year, but as we mentioned, Pruitt ranked number 1, and he has a 2-point lead here in the first period with 1 minute to go. One escape point for Brian Jones.
Now, you mentioned key points. This is the 125. I'm looking on my notes, and I asked the coach from Cox, Gary Hardenoff, and Coach Stephen Martin, what's the key match? Both of them picked this match. So, as this match goes, so may the match. There's 2. That should be easy, 2. Now, I'm going to talk a lot about this during the course of the match, and maybe it's the old coach in me, but body styles mean a lot. The Cox wrestler, Matt Pruitt, has a real chunky style, you know, like muscled up style. Now, a muscled up guy is easier to pin. I mean, it sounds funny. Boy, look at the muscles on that guy. But when they're muscled up, they're not as fluid, and they can't move as well. They're harder to come. It's like putting a turtle on his back. Now
Brian Jones, going into the second period, has a 1-point lead, 3-2.
1-point lead, and Brian's got that liquidity, I'd like to say. He's kind of fluid, just like Jason Foreman had in the last match. You may think you have something when you really don't have anything on him, because his body has give to it. He's loose. He can just, give. He can, give and take with the pressure. Where a guy that's muscled up doesn't have any room to be flexible. And he's got those long arms, which is good, but he's looked like he's in trouble now. 4 inches the rule. He's got to take him within 4 inches to score those back points. He wasn't able to do it. His head is out of position. See, it's up on his back. Can't have it. Got to have your head right in the side, just like almost like a bow and arrow. There it is. See, can't did it. Forced to cradle. He made a mistake there. He made a mistake, and Brian Jones could make him pay for it. They've both won double digits. Matt's won 16 matches for Cox, and Matt's won 13 matches for Cox, and Brian's won 16 matches for Great Bridge, and they both have 2 losses. So again, this is one of those evenly matched individual bouts that we're going to have. I think the key here is going to be body styles and who's got the most gas.
A definite turning point here at the 125 weight class. Both coaches picked this as an important match, and it's 3-2 now in favor of Brian Jones with 45 seconds to go in the second period.
This is a big win. This can be a big win for Great Bridge. They now have a 5-2 lead. That's a big lead in a match like this because of the styles of wrestling. Neither one of these guys are going to give anything. They're not going to get 1 point is a lot. A 1-0 win would be a big thing. You're not going to score a lot of points here. It's going to be close.
They came out wide open. They seem
Wide
to have
open.
slowed up a little bit now. Are we looking at a lull here with 14 to go?
But
and then they're going to come back strong in the third?
Well,
maybe?
yeah, but you may think they've slowed up, and I might think they slowed up. It doesn't look like they're going 60 miles an hour, but they're both going 40 miles an hour. I mean, they're both wrestling at the same pace.
Okay.
And one's not running over the other. They're still in it together, both of them.
So going into the third, it's 5-2 in favor of Brian Jones of Great Bridge here at the 125 weight class. A 10-3 lead for the Wildcats. And as we mentioned, the 125, a key class here tonight from Cox High School.
Well, what makes this important is the next wrestler at 130 is Chip Collier, the regional champ, 14-0, number 1 ranked guy in the wrestler. And Cox has got to have 6 points there. Now, in the beginning we talked about, well, if you don't score the points you think you got, you lost, or you're losing ground. Well, Cox has got to get 6 in the next one and needs to get the 3-point lead. No matter what happens to Great Bridge here, if they have, this is one of those toss-up matches. Cox is just looking for a decision here. If they lose, that's a 6-point swing. That's 3 they didn't have, and 3 the other team. That's 6 points. That's a big. You got to get a pin to make that up, and there aren't going to be a lot of pins here like surprises.
So, as he mentioned, Coach Hartnoff mentioned, they need to stay off their backs here, too.
Right. Well, this is one he wants to win.
To win, and definitely stay off his back.
They did the right thing already. This should be escape. He's too late with it. Front headlock. Now, he's in good shape here. He's just going to roll his head up. You'll see his head pop up. There it is. He maintains control. Referee is Jerry Kirby, who's the mat assistant. You can see him coming into your screen. And the referee is John Nolan. Now you hear that? That's the Cox crowd. They need to get something going here.
46 seconds to go in the third period. And a stalling called against Great Bridge now. A warning against Brian Jones.
I'm a little surprised at that. I think that's a little soon because I don't think these two guys could give you any more than they've got. You know, they're both running full steam all the way through. Now watch that Turk. And he's got to scoot. He's going to come up with it. There'll be a reversal. Got to step over that leg. There it is. Right there. They should give him a reversal. Little late call by the referee.
5-4 now.
He's still losing. It's third period. He's got to turn him. He's got to turn him or cut him loose. Now he cut him loose. Now, which I think was a mistake. Oh, got to score.
13 seconds left. He needs 2 points to tie.
Remember, a tie is as good as a win here.
6 seconds. Brian Jones with a 2-point lead. He gets the 2 points. And that'll end it in a tie. He got the 2 points with about 3 seconds to go in the match.
I see this as a 1-point team game. A 1-point team game for a Great Bridge. 6-6 does not help Cox High School. There seems to be some discussion
about how much time was left when the
whether
scoring
he scored
went
the
on.
points or not.
Coaches Chris Smith and head coach Steve Martin over at the scorer's table now, questioning if the time was indeed on the clock for the last score to tie it up at 6. I personally thought it was between 2 or 3 seconds.
It was clearly a tie. Clearly a tie. I don't see where they did say it was up.
Not a very heated argument, more of a discussion.
I think you're going to see it as a tie. The referees are discussing it in the center. Shake hands, it's a tie. Now Cox thinks that's a win, but this is like missing the extra point. This is like missing the extra point.
They needed to get the win there, and they didn't get it.
Instead of gaining instead of this match being 8-6, it's team score.
Still some discussion over at the scorer's table. As the next wrestlers, the 130 weight class, Chris Mackins and Chip Collier, are out on the mat now.
Well, actually, there's nothing that can be done here. The wrestlers have left. The rule says once you have left the mat, it's over with, and there's nothing that they can do here.
And that's probably what Coach Hartnoff is going to say. 12-5 now in favor of the Great Bridge Wildcats, going to the 130 weight class.
Now, see, this is another thing. It's, the old, calling the timeout after right before the field goal. Well, Stephen has quieted the crowd down. They just had a big win. Cox Wrestler's getting ready to run out there, and he's done a good job. He's quieted the crowd down. There's a lot of ways to win wrestling matches.
So a little strategy maybe from the Great Bridge bench, and we
Right.
see...
nothing happened. I mean, it was what happened. So it looks like Stephen Martin, although he may be a first-year coach, has learned quite a bit from his brother and his dad.
And Chip Collier comes out and quickly gets 2 takedown points against Chris Matkins.
Now,
I see now they're going to use a towel to tap the official on the back to let him know when the clock expires.
Yeah.
Little strategy.
Little
going
good.
from the
Yeah,
Great
where's
Bridge
the
bench.
towel? That's good, though. This is great for high school wrestling. This is where we want to be, and we want to invite you to get involved in our telecast. Call the cable station. Tell them you want to help us out. There's plenty of room for us to talk about your business, and let's support area high school wrestling. Believe me, we've traveled all over the country. We're proud of the quality wrestling here in Tidewater. Let's support it, and let's keep it telecast. We've got a lot of great telecasts planned throughout the year. We're very lucky to be in such a hotbed, so let's call and get some sponsorships and back this great amateur wrestling.
Feel free to give us a call at ACC 40 Television if you're interested in sponsoring future athletic events. 49 seconds to go, 2-point lead, 2-1 now as Chip Collier will let Chris Matkins escape.
Chip's not going to... They need to build up that score now. Remember, there's only so much time left in the bout. Now, Collier's 14-0.
He's going to want the pin here, as you mentioned, Frank, to get the 6 points that would make this a 1-point match right now. It's 12-5 in favor of the Wildcats.
Right, Collier's strength is with his legs.
2 points, Cox. No points.
No points awarded there for Chip Collier.
10 seconds remaining. 10 seconds.
10 seconds left in the bout in the first period, and the score is 2-1. And again, remember that strategy. You don't have to win. You just have to keep it close.
And I think he may get 2 more points right before the buzzer.
Now I saw Nolan checking it out with Jerry Kirby. Jerry Kirby is a senior referee in the area. He has the most expertise. Has been the #1 wrestler for as long as I can remember. I hate to admit it. I'll tell you how long he's been wrestling, but he was refereeing when I was wrestling.
He's always at the big matches.
Yeah,
Never fails. He's
never
always
fails.
here.
He's a great high school referee.
4-1 in the second period here now. The 130 weight class. Chris Matkins from Great Bridge. Chip Collier, the #1 ranked undefeated wrestler for the Cox Falcons. Mickey Irving and Frank Lapoli here from Cox High School. Capacity crowd. A great match so far tonight in the early weight class.
Now Collier's got to get the bonus points, and it's 4-1, but 4-1's not good enough. He's got to get a pin or a major or a superior decision or a technical fall here. He's got to get bonus points, or things have been turned around, or things have turned around on him.
So you talked about him avoiding the pin earlier.
Now there he goes.
Where he's going to let him up.
Now he's got to take him down, and he can't waste a lot of time in taking him down.
You talked about earlier about him not getting pinned. Well, now they need the pin to get the points on one of their stronger wrestlers.
They need big points. They need those bonus points. Nice counter shot. Collier shot in. He blocked him off. He got in on a low single. He's trying to run the pipe on him. We have a lot of colorful wrestling terms that will try to make them relative for you as much as we can, but he's in on a leg. And what he's got, it sounds kind of funny, but he's going to there it is, a little hip roll.
4-2, 36 seconds to go in the period.
You can roll a guy from literally any position. All you need is his wrist. 4-4. Again, This is a guy that has no business in this match.
Chris Matkins.
Chris Matkins is a good wrestler, but you're going up against a guy 15-0, regional champ. You figure the edges for the regional champ. Why is Matkins in the match? Now, I think Matkins is in the match because of Stephen Martin. I think that the cross from Iowa, the style of relentlessly after the opponent, no matter what's happening, and his background in the Granby system is putting him in this bout. They fear nobody. They feel as though they can beat you up and pin you, and they don't care who you are. If they just stay after you and beat you literally into submission. Well, so far, the game plan's working because he's got the regional champ, 14-0, ranked #1 in the area. He's giving him all he can handle, and he's taking him into a third period, and he's only losing by a point. Matter of fact, he just let him go to take him down. So that's confidence.
Here's a guy who's 28-18 and 1 over his career at Great Bridge, and it's 6-4 now in favor of the #1 ranked wrestler, Chip Collier. 1:45 to go in the third period. 12-5 in favor of the Great Bridge Wildcats here from Cox High School. 6-4, Collier in the lead.
Yeah, Collier, they've got to pick the pace up. There's Coach Hartranft. They know that they got to have extra points here. I mean, 3-0. The crowd, some people know, but the roar's not going to go up as much as you think it is. He's going to keep him on the mat and try to get the bonus points. He's got a cross-face cradle, and it seems like he's got it locked, but he's out of position. He's out of position with it. Now he is in position with it. He's got to go to the far side and put his knee closer to your chin. And that kind of makes a circle. You know, you ever seen an earring earring with for pierced ears and a big round earring? It's a circle. But if you open it up, it doesn't roll. He's got to close it up, and that's how they'll make a cradle. And that's what he's doing right now. He's trying to close the circle so he can take him to his back, and he needs to take him to his back. That's not good. See,
36 seconds remain. 8-4, so they're not looking at a lot of points here for Cox High School.
Well,
with just a 4-point lead.
Matkins is in the position he wants to be in. He's losing. He's on bottom. 36. This is where he wants to be. This is where he wants to be, right here. He can stay out of trouble here. He can roll him. He can win the match, right here. All it does is take 4 seconds to tie the match. All he needs is 4 seconds. 5 seconds, and he can win the match. There, he rolls him for 2, puts him on his back, picks up 3 back points. He would need 7 seconds to do that. There's 17. He's got 10 seconds to win this match.
17 seconds to go. 8-4 in favor of Chip Collier over Chris Matkins.
But it only takes 2 seconds to pin him. So then again.
So he's not. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen, and there it is.
7 seconds to go in the match. Great Bridge fans start to applaud. And the Cox fans, of course, applaud, but the Great Bridge fans have to be a little happy there.
They're pleased. They're pleased. Remember, I'm going to keep referring to 119-pound weight class. They had to win it. Right now, the score should be 10-10. Great Bridge has a 4-point lead.
Now the 135 weight class, Shannon Baines against Clay Wise. Clay Wise ranked #3 in the region. Shannon Baines, a junior from Great Bridge, 15-2 on the year.
Clay Wise is a pounder. He's like a guy that just stays in tight and he punches away. You know, he's just gonna nitpick at you. He's gonna very hard to score on. Very good basic skills. He's gonna he'll shoot a single leg, I believe, to the left-hand side. He'll block him off, front headlock, or there it is. Should cut him. Yeah, cut him loose. Now his shot will come right to that single leg. That's his shot. Front headlock or single leg. That's it. So, may see it 10 times. Same move.
2-1 in favor of Clay Wise with a minute to go in the first period.
Clay's is just a pounder. He's just going to stay after. They should win this. Again, they need big points. They need big points here. They need to start throwing some dynamite, out there, going for broke.
12-8 in favor of the Wildcats over the Falcons right now here in the 135 weight class.
I keep referring to it, but you watch. Here it is. If this match is close, that 119-pound weight class is the match that we will point to.
33 seconds to go in the first period. Takedown and an escape. The only scoring so far, Clay Wise with a 2-1 lead over Shannon Baines.
Recently in the Virginia duels, these guys just had so much firepower. They just blew everybody away, Great Bridge. And they're wrestling with the same intensity. Sometimes it's tough to win one match and come right back again and win another big one. I asked Stephen Martin about that. He said that they were ready, they're excited because of the 2 wins they had. It acted like a springboard. They had such a good time at the swimming pool, they want to go back.
Now, do you think that, Cox dropped a couple there? And they're a premier program, no doubt, one of the premier programs in the area. And they haven't had as much success maybe as they've wanted here. Are they down right now, or are they still in a pretty good situation?
The overall program?
Well, no, just for this match right now.
They're down. They're behind. This should be tied. This match should be 10-10. So Great Bridge has done the things that Cox needed to do. Stay off their backs, keep the matches closest, and not see. Great Bridge won a match they shouldn't have. And they were in a match they shouldn't have been in. So Great Bridge is definitely doing a fantastic job, and you're looking at one of the top teams in America right here, Great Bridge. If they can keep this pace up, they're going to win this match. They're going to win this match by a lot of points. And it's 12-10 now, but Cox has got to put some things together early.
Shannon Baines will take a 4-2 lead with the takedown with 1:22 to go in the second period. And this has the makings of an upset. Clay Wise, as you mentioned, ranked 3rd, Frank, in the region, the senior, and Shannon Baines, a junior from Great Bridge. Again, Great Bridge in the gold and green, and Cox High School in the solid green uniforms. But Shannon Baines comes out here with a 4-2 lead in the second period.
No question. We've had 5 matches. Cox has won 2, Great Bridge has won 2, and there's been 1 tie. The difference is Great Bridge has won 2 matches with bonus points. Got those bonus points, and that's why they've got a 4-point lead.
An escape point for Clay Wise, make it 4-3 with 50 seconds to go in the second period. Coach Stephen Martin up off the bench for Great Bridge. 41 seconds now to go in the second period. 135 weight class. Baines and Wise.
Who has choice in the third period,
No.
Okay, that's important here. If Cox needs to have choice in the third period, they're going to take down. Great Bridge is is protecting his lead is what he's doing. And he's smart to do it. That's okay. That's a double stalling call. That benefits both wrestlers. Now, all one has to do is turn the gas up just a little teeny bit, make the other guy look bad, and he can win a point for stalling. That's exactly what's happening.
So we'll go 4-3 into the third and final period here at the 135 weight class. Shannon Baines and Clay Wise. With just 2 minutes to go in this 135 weight class, 12-8 lead for the Wildcats. .151 to go, the final period, 4-3. Shannon Baines with the upset so far.
Remember in the earlier matches, how do you stop a guy from moving? Throw in the legs. There you go. Great Bridge is now throwing in the legs. to stop him down. And he's looking good. I tell you, this is a situation where I told you that Iowa's technique with is just relentlessly after your opponent, no matter what the score, no matter what your ability is. Finally, you'll wear them down. And what's happening here is the score is 4-3, and the clock is now on Great Bridge side.
1:12 to go in the third period.
And he's going to see, he's tying the legs up. Just keep tying him up. He doesn't have to turn him, he just has to tie him up.
1 minute to go in the final period.
He's going to scoot out. Scoot out.
Play wise. Dangerous hold. They'll stop.
That was a little...
Play wise didn't think so.
A little quick. But you don't ever want to chance these kids. If, it's not worth it. No match, no score, no nothing is worth a kid getting hurt.
51 seconds remain in this 135 weight class match. Play wise against Shannon Baines from Great Bridge.
Now all he's got to do is cut him loose. That's all he needs to do. Is cut him loose and get a tie. Remember, he can win two ways.
30 seconds.
Doesn't have to...
Crowd going crazy now with 23 seconds to go.
He's coming out of it. Got to get his head up.
14 seconds. There's the reversal.
He's pinned. Oh, you saw it on TV.
This crowd's going to go crazy in about 3 seconds. And they do. Give the win to Clay Wise as he comes back in the third period with the reversal to take a 5-4 lead. Clay Wise with the win. Eason is down just 4 points, 5-1.
It doesn't matter.
When
They
it
got to get a pin.
When it could have been a pin.
They got to have a pin. I look him over my good friend Paul White, sports writer for Virginia Beach, who was right there thinking he's nodding his head. He knows they got to have big points here. I tell you what, though, and I think Paul will agree, is the missed opportunities the Cox has had at that tie over at the tie they had at 119 is going to hurt him. Now there he is. Look, there's a guy almost getting pinned a few seconds ago. He pumps it. Now he's winning. Tie score.
Carlos Eason with the reversal to the near fall points. Tied up at 5. 1:28 to go in the second period. Carlos Eason seems to have turned it up a notch right here now against Bobby Serino. It's hard to believe that the guy was so close to being pinned in the first period.
See, it doesn't matter. It's their intensity level. All you've done is kick a hornet's nest. Now, Serino, he came out strong, but he's, where is he now? Now, it's a stalemate. Yeah, good call. Good call by the referee. Stalemate.
50 seconds to go in the second period.
See, Serino was on his way to getting bonus points. 5-0 lead, 5-1 lead. He just needed, 5 more points and he got some bonus points. Now it's 0. The match just started all over again. Great Bridge has shortened the distance of the match. Now instead of a 6-minute match, it's going to be a 2-minute match.
30 seconds in the second period. The 145 weight class, Carlos Eason against Bobby Serino.
This is going to be another stalemate. And that goes, again, the clock's in favor of Great Bridge.
19 seconds.
15 seconds.
Bobby Serino ranked number 2 in the region.
He's eating up the time.
1 second. And Coach Steve Martin is up off the bench and is the biggest fan here right now for Carlos Eason.
This is like a Christmas present. 5-5. 5-5 against the number 2 ranked wrestler with a 13-1 record.
On the year, Carlos Eason 10-6.
This boy is the hero of this match.
There you get a look at the Great Bridge sidelines. Coaches Smith and Coach Martin.
Adam Perry is wrestling his heart out, and he's right in the match. Oh, it's Carlos Eason. Excuse me.
Adam was scratched.
That's right.
At 145.
Hey, that strategy there, Mickey, to switch them all the time. See, now he's slowed the pace of the match down. Carlos is wrestling his match now. He's changed the momentum.
1:25 to go in the match. 5-5 tie, and Carlos Eason in good shape against the number 2 ranked Bobby Serino.
See, Carlos has got to try to turn him, and he's not, which is good for Carlos. I mean, stalemate. That's good.
This is another one of those guys, as you mentioned, not the top guys, doing a job for Great Bridge so far.
Overall, I mean, Cox knows it. I mean, it's not going to get better as the match goes on. It's going to get more in favor of Great Bridge. Great Bridge has got some big firepower.
And there is the point for Bobby Serino, the 1-point escape point. 54 seconds to go in the match. 6-5 in favor of Serino.
The next match we have is probably the match of the week, maybe the month. Number 1 against number 2.
Jamie Kelly and Chad McFadder. Chad ranked number 1 for Cox High School. Jamie number 2 at the 152 weight class. Coach Martin said this was the big match for them, one of the big matches. 37 seconds to go, 6-5 in favor of Bobby Serino.
See what Serino's 6-5. He just wants to win. Just wants to win. Great Bridge is, Great Bridge, in my opinion, has won the match. It doesn't matter what happens here. They've cut the margin of victory.
21 seconds to go in the third period.
It's a matter of intensity.
15 seconds to go. Carlos Eason down a point to Bobby Serino.
Watch this. Carlos is in this.
4 seconds.
Carlos is in this. Carlos is going for a butt drag. Remember how this match started off. Carlos is on his back, bridging for his life. In the last 5 seconds, he almost wins it.
Serino looked up at the clock, possibly, and Carlos got away.
Got away. Let him off the hook. Cox, I believe, has won more matches.
14 in favor of Great Bridge as Cox gets the win. But Great Bridge keeps the lead. And here's the match, the 152. Jamie Kelly, ranked number 2, the junior, against Chad McFadder, ranked number 1. Again, Cox High School in the solid uniforms, Great Bridge in the green with the gold top.
Okay, this is one of those matches. We got number 1 against number 2. McFadder, second in the state last year, been all over the country. He's the man. Now, Cox would be happy for just a win here. But, and I've had this happen to me, where you look at a guy that was going to lose and you say, now you got to win. You look at a guy that's going to win and you say, now you've got to pin. So, Great Bridge has got everything going its way, and Great Bridge looks at
early goings here in the 152 weight class, 16-14. Chad McFadder of Cox against Jamie Kelly of Great Bridge. No score yet. Mickey Irving and Frank Lapoli here on your Sports Beat 40 Game of the Week. Glad you could join us. Watch us every Thursday night at 10 and every Saturday at 12 o'clock here on Channel 40 for your game of the week.
1 minute remaining in the first turn. 1 minute.
No control yet.
He's in deep. McFadder's got to watch his hip. It's his hip that you got to watch. Now it's in trouble. See the knee underneath of his head? His knee's bent. You're not in good shape. Not in good shape. Now, right now he's got to tie up in there just to stalemate him. He's like in a freestyle maneuver. It's called a crotch lift. And he's just going to try to stalemate him out. He's got to scoop his hips all the way to the outside. It's a this ended up in a stalemate.
27 seconds in the first period.
A stalemate. See?
And there it is.
24 seconds remaining in the first period.
Coach Lapoli comes through, knew what was going on there. Well, you can coach it or you can referee it. You can do it.
I'm
not going to let you jump out there, though.
I don't wrestle it anymore. I wrestle with my son, and he's 11 years old, and I outweigh him, so that's about as far as I can go. My wife beats me, so it's how it goes.
6 seconds in the first period. No score.
Well, high school wrestling in Tidewater used to be just one school, two schools, Cox and Kempsville. Then when Wayne Martin showed up at Great Bridge, then all of a sudden it's 3 schools. And Terry Purdue over in Western Branch, now it's 4 schools. Not schools that are so-so sometimes. These are teams that have consistent programs every year. Now Great Bridge, Green Run with Jack Carcart's made it 5 schools. And then you have the team that, consists of teams that have a good team from, one year they'll have a good team, which makes it about 6 good teams. But our core teams are now increasing from just 2 to 5 core teams with great individuals. Green Run is probably, they're not rookies, but by any means, but they're definitely going to be a program to contend with every year. And I wouldn't be surprised if they went on to win the Beach District this year, at least a team championship. And then we've got the great dual meet championship, which is about time that they started doing something like that, which is a spinoff on what we've done over in Hampton with the Virginia Duels. And there's McFadder working for a fall, but he's not a real flashy wrestler. He's just going to go pound away at it. And, he's not going to score a lot of points. He's just going to pound away at it and look for it.
So he's not a flashy kind of wrestler, but is he very textbook, very
just real basic, real hard to score on, very hard to score on, and just going to beat you up and get his points on. Very strong kid.
So with no score here in the second period, just 43 seconds left, you're not surprised by...
No, not surprised at all. I'm surprised that McFadder didn't score a takedown. This is anybody's match. And with the offensive ability of Great Bridge from bottom, most wrestlers aren't very good on bottom. Great Bridge, that's their best position. If you can't be held down, it's very hard to get beat. Very hard, and they're right out. He did a little high turn in, which is where he got his hips above his head, turned in, and did it with escape. Escape was worth 1 point. A takedown was worth 2 points.
So Jamie Kelly with a 1-point lead here with 17 seconds to go in the second period.
And you can see it's a great shot of how important high school wrestling is in Tidewater. This place is filled.
6 seconds to go in the period. As we mentioned, Jamie Kelly with a 1-point lead over Chad McFadder.
We've got a match coming up, I believe, on January 25th. And we'll call that the big battle. And that's Western Branch against Great Bridge.
That's going to be a good one. Going to be a good one.
They match up perfectly, right on down the line. When you got a good heavyweight, it's great. But when you got 2 good heavyweights, hold on to your seats. Bring your seatbelt with you. Bring your seat cushion for sure.
Of course, we saw both Great Bridges and Western Branch heavyweight wrestlers in football season, Jason Edmondson and Adam Purdy over at Western Branch.
Purdy is one of those guys very hard to put on your back. He was pinned in Grundy's match, first time he'd ever been pinned, but the Grundy wrestler is definitely probably one of the better heavyweights in America, and he showed it. That's interesting that he cut him loose, cut McFadder loose. But see, remember now, it's 1-1. They got to get a pin. Cox has got to get big points. Now they're just battling to win the match.
16-14, the team score in favor of the Wildcats. In the 152 weight class, Jamie Kelly and Chad McFadder tied up at 1 with 1:05 to go in the match. Warning for stalling on Jamie Kelly. .54 seconds to go in the match, tied up at 1. Kelly and Chad McFadder. McFadder in the green, Kelly in the green with the gold top. 40 seconds to go in the match, tied up at 1. 30 seconds left in this match.
30 seconds, 30 seconds.
McFadder working hard.
This is a win for Great Bridge, no matter what happens.
15
Got it.
seconds.
There it is. Scored.
2 points for McFadder.
This match is over.
1 second. So Chad McFadder will get the win.
And yeah, Coach Martin is coming over to question the officials on that call.
He is not happy at all.
Stephen Martin is not happy at all.
Coach Martin talking it over with referee John Nolan. And this is about as upset as I've seen
I've never heard.
Steve Martin.
Stephen's been pretty calm. But again, he's toning the crowd down.
That's exactly what he did before.
He did it and it worked.
The strategy's flying.
It worked.
17-16 now, Cox's first lead of the night. As Dentron Eason and Steve Kimner, the sophomore, Dentron ranked number 2, wrestling for the Great Bridge Wildcats. 17-16 lead for the Falcons. Steve Kimner in the green. There's takedown points for Dentron Eason to take the 2-point lead. There you see the team score. The Falcons on top for the first time tonight.
But it's not enough. It's not enough. It's like they got the big
guns coming up.
Big guns coming up. Great Bridge has the big guns coming up. I mean, boom, boom, boom. This thing the last 3 matches might take as long as the first match.
.112 to go in the first period. Dentron Eason with a 2-point lead. The capacity crowd here at Cox High School trying to cheer on Steve Kimner. We said he's down 2 points, 55 seconds to go in the first period.
A reminder to the fans, as Cox gets the 1-point escape.
44 seconds to go now. One escape point there for Steve Kimner. And Dentron Eason gets the takedown.
He's getting back points,
4-1.
Getting back points in a big way. See if he got his 3.
17 seconds.
All right, 4-1.
Score is 4-1. Eason is ahead. 16 seconds remaining in the first period.
16 seconds remaining in the first period. Dentron will now get some instructions from first-year coach Steve Martin. And Steve Kimner will take a break and get the shoe tied now. Slow things up just a bit. Let everybody catch their breath here from Cox High School. ACC 40 Game of the Week. wrestling match between the Great Bridge Wildcats and Cox Falcons. It's 17-16 in favor of Cox right now at the 160 weight class.
Oh, he's got that Torella. They call it a Torella. It's hard to pin the guy here, but it's definite back points. He got that hand. That's a big move by Great Bridge. Gets that hand through the crotch, locks it up, and puts the other hand on the back, pries it backwards, puts you on your back, kind of rocks you to sleep there.
So Easton will take the 6-1 lead into the second period. Easton ranked number 2, 19-1 on the year, an overall record while at Great Bridge of 41-17. Was 5th in the region last year for Coach Wayne Martin.
Well, Great Bridge, Cox probably won't win another match tonight.
Because the heavy artillery is getting ready to hit the floor for Great Bridge.
Yeah, it's over. It's not enough. 17 points isn't enough points to win this match.
Steve Kemner, the sophomore, against Dentron Eason. Reversal for Dentron Eason to add to his lead, and he's looking at an 8-1 lead now, so he's looking at some bonus points.
That's the byline of this match. Great Bridge gets the bonus points. That is the story of this match. Great Bridge has consistently picked up the bonus points. And Cox has been unable to convert their big matches into bonus point situations. Cut and dry. You score a touchdown, miss the extra point. I score a touchdown, get the extra point. I'll trade you that all day long.
And chances are good you'll win. Chances are
you'll
real
win
good.
Real good. They only give one. That's right. They don't give anything if you miss an extra point. And there he is, and you just see him. He knows what's going on. It's just the second period, and he's already got a bonus point situation. He's already in a bonus situation.
And there's 2 more points.
There it is.
So it's 10-1 now in favor of Dentron Eason.
This is only one of 3 seniors on the Great Bridge team. They have one
of 3. The last 3, David Hall, David Smith, and Dentron Eason.
3 seniors and 10 juniors. Boy, I know a lot of people aren't looking forward to next year. There it is again.
14 seconds to go in the second period. Dentron Eason with a 10-1 lead over Steve Kemner, the sophomore. 2 more points, near fall points for Dentron Eason. He poured it on there in the second period. It's 12-1 now. Kemner with his only point on the escape in the first period. So here we go with the final 2 minutes of this match, a 12-1 lead for Dentron Eason. What can Steve Kemner do here? He's got to get the pin.
That's the only, that's the only thing he can do. He can just look for big points. But see, it's like, I'm going to knock you out, and you know it. So, I mean, it's easy to defense against it. Plus, I don't think he's got the firepower, actually. He's been, you know, he's had 14 points scored against him, and he just doesn't have it. I mean, unless something dramatic happens here, plus you've got a senior wrestling a sophomore, so a little bit of age maturity here. He's doing a good job just not getting pinned. Good position there. That's a good shot. Now you see he's a little bit out of position. Dentron, he needs to get on his forehead. See his shoulders up. He needs to sit up, bring his head up. See, he's trying to bring his head up. If he can bring his head up, oh, now he's got it.
46 seconds left in the final period, 16-2, Dentron Eason. Dentron wants to pin.
We got him.
Got it.
Turn out the lights. The party's over. Open the floodgates.
22-17.
If you're watching at home, don't go to the bathroom because you might miss something right now.
David Smith, the senior for Great Bridge, against Lou Crenshaw, the junior.
That takedown took 11 seconds.
And David will take the 2-point lead quickly.
Very quickly.
3 matches to go. We're at the 171 weight class. David Smith and Lou Crenshaw, 22-17 in favor of the Wildcats after the pin.
This match now is a question of not if Great Bridge is going to win, it's how many points Great Bridge will win by. That could be their most impressive win over Cox High School. And just last year, it came down to 1 point. A 1-point victory by Great Bridge, where it was an upset over Cox High School.
Crenshaw got the 1 point for the escape to make it 2-1 with 1:03 to go in the first period. David Smith, 16-2 on the year, a career record of 29-7 for the Wildcats. Again, the Wildcat wrestlers in the green with the gold tops and Cox in the solid green uniforms tonight. Go in the first period.
Now this is a situation where Cox has just got to keep the matches close and just kind of pick their shots. You can see the intensity. It's like the Sharks smelling the blood. They're just in a fury. You know, you got your big guns, you got their big guys. I mean, they're outpowered, they're outmanned. Great Bridge has a very impressive team. And what's scary about them, 10 of them are back next year. And they're going to be ranked very high. They're very possibly, you could be looking at the best high school team in America, if not this year, next year.
They're ranked 7th now, and you said you expected to move up. How high do you, in your estimation?
Well, there's two wrestling polls. There's 3 wrestling polls, really. The best poll is Amateur Wrestling News, which Great Bridge was ranked 10th in the nation in. And I think you'll see Great Bridge just rocket right on up to the top of that. Great Bridge won the Deep Creek tournament, and in that tournament was Paulsboro High School, which was ranked 4th in the country. Great Bridge wins that. Then you've got the win in the Virginia, the 2 impressive victories in the Virginia duels, which is the pollsters look at. And then you've got the big matchup with the Western Branch, and I like Great Bridge in that match. Western Branch is definitely not to be undercut. Terry Perdue will have his team ready, but the way Great Bridge is going, they've got to do to Cox what Western Branch has got to do to Great Bridge, but Great Bridge has done to Cox tonight. Convert on big match situations, pick up the bonus points.
Of course, that will be coming up here on ACC 40, one of the biggest matches of the year, the Wildcats against the Western Branch Bruins. Be sure and watch us every Thursday night at 10 o'clock and every Saturday at 12 here on Channel 40. Our next telecast, of course, will be the Deep Creek Hornets against the Indian River Braves in basketball.
That match between Great Bridge and Great Bridge and Western Branch, probably be one of the better matches in the country this year when it comes up. They're just so evenly matched with 14 to 16 kids are ranked, and they're all 1s and 2s.
It's going to be a good one.
And those kids could literally, Great Bridge could load up the regionals finals with their guys, and it could turn into a dual meet between Great Bridge and Western Branch.
4-1 with 13 seconds to go in the second period in favor of David Smith. The team scored 22-17 in favor of the Wildcats following the pin from Dentron Eason.
It's 4-1, but it's not that close. I mean, the match isn't as close as the score indicates. This is good for Cox, but it's too late. I mean, it's good that they're in the match 4-1 here. I mean, anything could still happen. Quick reversal, catching the guy late in the third period, score your reversal, score your back points, not give the guy enough chance to recover. You've won the match, but I think it's a little too late at this point.
After both of the Cox victories, Coach Martin came over and maybe he did take the crowd out of it. Do you think that was a little strategy? Or?
No question. I think he was definitely, well, a lot of times in a call, when it's not that the referee made the call and you can't change it. It's, you want to let the referee know that you weren't necessarily pleased with the call, so the next call, he doesn't make so fast. Maybe he hesitates and doesn't make it in time, saves you. So there's a lot of call, making him questioning, well, maybe I called it too quickly. So there's a lot by questioning, and it just depends on how you do it. Can't be a nuisance. Cox is wrestling fine in this match. This is one of the better performances by the Cox guys that are, that are in over their head. This is a sophomore against a very experienced junior.
This is Crenshaw against Smith. 51 seconds to go. 6-3 in favor of David Smith.
Well, David Smith is 16-2. I guess you wouldn't call him real inexperienced. I mean, 12-3. Crenshaw is 12-3. Smith is 16-2. And there's that death row of guys that are ranked. Great Bridge is ranked number 2 at 152, number 2 at 160, number 2 at 171, number 1 at 189, and number 2 at heavyweight. Not a pleasant sight if you're an opposing team.
6-3 now in favor of David Smith, the 171 weight class. Coach Hartnoff thought at the beginning this would be one of the key matches for Cox. 20 seconds now, 27 seconds to go. 6-3 lead for David Smith and Great Bridge. Looking to tack on a few more points here, 3 more points.
15 seconds, 15.
And that's the stall against Great Bridge.
1, 2, and 3, 10 seconds remaining. 6-4.
Make it 6-4 with 10 seconds to go.
Pointless call. I mean, 6-4.
Five seconds to go.
Can't get it. Won't get it.
And it'll finish up 6-4 in favor of David Smith of Great Bridge. The senior
6-4 from Great Bridge. David
gets the win to tack on 3 more points for the Wildcats to make it 25-17 now.
That was one of the matches that Coach Harcraft said he had to win. Had to win.
Now at 189, the senior David Hall, 18-0 on the year against sophomore Jason Kramer.
And Kramer just has 1 win, 3 losses. Jason is the junior high school champ. You'll hear from Jason, but not this year. He's in over his head against a seasoned veteran. Hall has been starting for 4 years.
Here's a guy with 96 wins. He'll top the 100 win mark, I'm sure, this year very easily, as he's 96-23 in his career for the Wildcats.
He was a guy just like Kramer, just not that long ago, trying to make things happen. Kramer is a very tough, young kid, unseasoned, but you're going to hear from this Cox wrestler. Hall, his future lies ahead of him. He's going to go on. He's highly recruited in the country. I think you're looking at the state champ right there. He's going to be the state champ this year. He was second last year. The only thing he lacked was a little bit of size. And looked like he's been hitting the weights. And then again with Stephen Martin's very tough, rigorous training technique that I don't think it'll be very surprised if the state championship eludes him this year.
A little break of the action. David Hall slightly injured. He will be ready to go in just a few minutes.
That day has 2 minutes to get out there. 2 minutes.
And he's ready to go. Sports Beat 40 game of the week from Cox High School. The Great Bridge Wildcats on top 25-17 against the Falcons.
If you're watching at home and you're like our telecast, you'd like to get a part of it, hey, we'd love to have you. There's plenty of time during our telecast to promote your business. Please give us a call. Take pride in our programming, our sports highlighting the type high school kids in the area. Let's get a part of what makes amateur wrestling great in the area. Give us a call and be a part of our team.
Call us here at ACC 40. We'd be glad to hear from you. Always looking for sponsorship to continue this high school coverage that we do. And as we said earlier, you can watch us every Thursday night at 10 on Channel 40 and every Saturday at 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
We plan on taking this right on through to the state meet and the state dual meet championships, a couple of great high school matches, but we need your help to do that. So give us a call and be a part of our team. We'd love to have you. And these kids deserve it.
David Hall and Jason Kramer now, 1:22 to go. There you see some of the Wildcat cheerleaders here in attendance tonight at Cox High School. Still a packed house here.
I think overall, when we look back on this match, I think Cox has done a good job at keeping this match close. Great Bridge didn't come out and stomp them. They didn't blow them away. I think they've showed that Cox is a team to. But what they've got to do is they've got to be able to be a little bit more offensive. Great Bridge has the muscle and flexed it tonight. Cox has the technique and has the athletes, but doesn't have the overall firepower to make it happen. And that's been the big story here. Great Bridge has converted the matches into bonus point situations.
David Hall now seems to be bleeding from the lip some. What's going on over there now? How long will he have?
Well, the bleeding is like, it's not your fault if you're bleeding, if it's a nosebleed. But it's not your fault if you're bleeding if it's a nosebleed. But they've got 2 minutes to go, and there's a good shot of our crowd. Been into that. That's the Great Bridge side. You can tell they're real happy.
1:12 to go in the first quarter.
Well, Kramer's done good so far. But it's been glad they haven't been wrestling though. He's still in there.
We already see Jason Edmondson pacing back and forth on the sideline over at the Great Bridge.
They call Edmondson the dumpster. They're the dumpster. Jason Edmondson, that's dumpster coming up here. And he's 18-2-1, ranked second in the district. And he's got a big, big match ahead of him because Dan Clark is every bit of 275. He was a runner-up in the junior high school tournament last year here, and he's a big kid, but he's just a sophomore. He's definitely not the seasoned veteran that Edmondson is.
Here in the 189 class, David Hall gets on top here with 27 seconds to go in the first period with 2 points to take the 2-point lead. And 18 seconds to go now. David Hall against Jason Kramer, the sophomore. As we mentioned, David Hall with close to 100 wins in his career for Great Bridge.
Okay, what we're gonna say again here, it's they're gonna just 6 seconds to go. He's not gonna let him go. He's just gonna ride him out. But I mean, the match is over. Great Bridge has won this match. There's no way that Cox can win this bout unless you see two dramatic pins. I mean, mathematically, they're in the match. They need a pin and a win. A pin will bring them within 3, and then it will come down to heavyweight.
2-point lead going into the second period.
And that's great.
For David Hall.
That's what Great Bridge has successfully done. They've made the match close, and the matches they were outmanned in. And Great Bridge and Cox High School has been able to do it in this match right here. The 189, you got a sophomore against a senior, probably one of the better high school 89-pounders in the country. You got a sophomore with just 1 win, and he's going into the second period 2-0.
When you look back, as you mentioned, the 119 class where Cox won, but didn't get the big points.
If you were to take away 2 points away from Great Bridge, that'd make it 23, and give them to Cox, it'd make it 19. 23-19, they wouldn't need as many, it'd be very close. Then if you look at the other matches where they didn't get the bonus points in, I mean, Cox should be in the lead right now, but they're not. And in just a matter of a couple of seconds, they're gonna, that's it, right there, he's pinned.
David Hall David Hall may have been lulled to sleep for a few minutes, but he sure snapped out of it quick.
He's the tough kid. He's just a seasoned veteran against a very tough Cox kid that you will hear from in the future. He's just a sophomore. And now here we come. Here come the big boys.
The dumpster, Jason Edmondson.
They call him the dumpster.
And he is ready. Look
He's
at that.
very intense.
I think
Look
we've
at
seen
that.
that on the football field
That's
a couple
right.
of times.
And here comes
Dan Clark.
Dan Clark, the dumpster. Ah!
And Jason
Clark.
Edmondson goes right after him. There's the
31
score.
to 17. That's one of the biggest. I can't remember Great Bridge ever winning this big. And that just, again, they have 8 juniors. Cox has on the team 1, 2, 3.
As we get our way at our last match, let's thank everybody for coming
4,
and visiting the Falcons.
5 seniors.
The Wildcats from Great Bridge. Great crowd support, and we certainly appreciate it.
31-17 is a team score, and there you see in the dark green uniform, the solid green, Dan Clark, the big sophomore, against Jason Edmondson, the junior.
Jason is going to go for an underhook and try to duck under him. Front headlock him and just spin. He'll just spin behind him now. When you got these big guys, you never want to get stuck underneath the guy like you see Dan Clark doing right there. Dan's got to lift his head up. There it is. He's just going to stay right back there and keep it safe. To work a one-on-one, you watch him, see if he'll come up and block the head. Come up and step up and block his head with his no, he's just going to pull it out. Now, if that case, he'll just push it across his back. Arm bar. Now change sides and half Nelson him.
34 seconds to go in the first period.
There it goes. There he goes. Just needs to inch him over. That's it. Problem with heavyweights, once you get them on their back, it's hard to get off your back.
14 seconds in the first period.
Here's the dumpster.
He's going for it.
He's got him.
7 seconds in the first period.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Just couldn't quite get it. Near fall points for Jason Edmondson to make it a 5-point lead.
They take top. Now wait till you'll see him just break him down. You'll see him break him down and go for that big move. You can see a lot of people are leaving the gym now because the match is pretty well out of. Heading for the exits. Nice roll though. Clark's got him moving, but Jason has recovered. Jason's 18-2-1. Same move. Just gonna go back. Hey, if it's not broke, don't fix it. He's just gonna try to block his far side. This will be a perfect example of how to do this right. See, you've got that shoulder well, his weight's down. He's just got to sink back, lift his head up. Lift his head up, and too much time. A lot of time left. 1:20, and he's gonna sit. Gonna bring his knee under. There he goes. And just go to his forehead. That's it. That's it.
Jason Edmondson with the pin. The big boys come in and get the last two.
They call him the dumpster.
6 points more for Great Bridge to make it 37-17. So let's take a quick look back at how all this happened. Sean Darnell and Jason Morales squared off to give Great Bridge a 6-point lead as Sean got the pin. Danny DeReese got the win, got 4 points for Great Bridge to make it about a 10-point lead. Jason Forsman defeated Labisha Kostick to make it 10-3. Brian Jones had a tie with Matt Pruitt, so it was 12-5 going to the 130 weight class. And then Chris Matkins and Chip Collier went at it, and Chip Collier came away with an 8-4 win to make it 12-8 in favor of the Wildcats. Shannon Baines and Clay Wise were next. Shannon Baines won 5-4. It was 12-11 at that point. Mark Strickland came in and won big to give Great Bridge the lead 16-11. Carlos Eason came in against Bobby Sereno and won 6-5. Lost 6-5, and that made it 16-14 in favor of Cox. Dentron Eason came in with the pin, 22-17 Great Bridge. David Smith won to make it 25-17. And right now, let's go to Frank on the floor with Coach Steve Martin.
Win, scored a lot of points. The match seemed to go the way it did. You picked out a couple of important matches. Strickland, you said that was an important one, and you looked good there.
Yeah, Mark looked real good. He turned it on at the end, almost got a 15-pointer for us, so I was pleased with his performance. He wrestled wide open for me.
Stephen, I saw this match as is that you were able to score bonus points all the way through the match. You just didn't win the matches. You got major decisions. You picked up pins, where Cox was unable to convert the matches. Not only that they had to win, that they had to win in a big way. You tied a match that they had to win. With Nick Fatter, you were in it where they had to get a pin there, and then you got a tie that Cox should have scored some big points at.
Yeah, we definitely got our bonus points, especially from our big boys. They came through for us. Hall and Jason Edmondson came through with those pins. That helped a lot.
Stephen, do you see that a different style of wrestling with this Great Bridge team opposed to the prior years? I mean, the technique is the same that we've seen from year in and year out, but the intensity and the endurance of the wrestlers to me looks like it's upscaled. You've taken them. Looks like you've taken them to another level.
Yeah, I think they're a little bit more physical. In fact, some of the referees have been getting on us for being too physical, and our conditioning is probably a little bit better, but we need to take it to another level, Frank, for the regional and state, district regional and state tournaments, because it's not good enough for me yet.
Somehow I knew you'd say that. You've got a big match coming up with Great Bridge in just a short Western Branch. What do you look for there?
I look for tough, hard wrestling for 6 minutes. If they wrestle hard for 6 minutes, then I have no problem with it. Jamie Kelly wrestled hard for me for 6 minutes. I had no problem with that. Whereas maybe one or two of my other guys maybe slacked off at the end, and I wasn't happy with that. So I'm looking for 6 hard minutes when we go against Western Branch, and then I'll be satisfied with the outcome.
Well, for somehow I think that, Stephen, you'll have them ready. We'll kick it back to Mickey for a wrap-up.
That's it here from Cox High School. The Great Bridge Wildcats come through with a big win here in Virginia Beach against the Falcons. Stay tuned. Our next game will be a basketball game between
Frank. Here at Western Branch High School, the Great Bridge Wildcats come in here 16-0.
Oh, they're 16-0. They're ranked 6th in the nation by USA Today, and they ride a 40-match winning streak. And you know the last time they lost to a local team, you know where that was?
I couldn't imagine.
It was right here in this very gym, in a match that they're still talking about. There's a few guys on that Western Branch team that were there. They were at the glory. They were at the tradition. Hey, they're on that team, and believe me, they're in that